to the entertaining Talkin' Sports.
What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video as the New York Giants continue to fill out this coaching staff as the Giants have found their new O-line coach. I don't think it's official yet, but from everything I'm reading, it looks like it's a foregone conclusion that Rob Sale will be the new offensive line coach for the New York Giants. Before I get started, I just want to say thank you to everybody that blew up that live stream last night. I had a lot of fun calling that Super Bowl with you guys. And while we watched the Super Bowl together, I think one thing we realized as New York Giant fans is you can't win a whole lot of football games unless you have a strong offensive line. Something that the New York Giants really have not had consistently since the first half of Eli Manning's career. And during the first half of Eli Manning's career, to no shock, we won 2 Super Bowls. We were able to control the clock. We were able to have a balanced offense. And that's exactly what I think that Joe Judge wants to bring here with the New York Giants along with Jason Garrett. And when I went through Rob Sale, I think he fits the offensive philosophy that the New York Giants are trying to bring here. And that is a run-heavy approach, or at least a balanced offense. When you really dive into the numbers of what Rob Sale did with Louisiana, where he was both an offensive coordinator and an offensive line coach, they ran the ball 100 more times than they passed it. Granted, it's college. I think they were top 12 or so in the nation in rushing. So they definitely run the ball a ton. They had one of the best offenses in the country, and Rob Sale got a lot of accolades because of it. I think he won Offensive Line Coach of the Year. He has a laundry list of accolades throughout his career. And, of course, you guessed it, he does have ties to Joe Judge. Should not be a surprise to anybody. Last year, of course, we brought on Mark Colombo, who I think had more ties to Jason Garrett. This is Judge bringing in a guy of his own. Colombo got fired about halfway through the season. We then brought in Dave Gettleman, who we decided to move on from because we couldn't come to an agreement with the contract. Gettleman came in here and even readily admitted that he didn't have much of an impact in terms of the philosophy, in terms of the blocking for the offensive line. He kind of had to adapt on the fly, being given the job when the New York Giants surprisingly fired Colombo. The offensive line definitely performed better with Coach Googs here, but a lot of people, I think, credited Judge for making the changes that he made in season when Colombo was still here. Well, now he brings on one of his guys, and we're going to have to wait and see how it all plays out. But let's jump into some of the things that I wanted to show you guys about Rob Sale. And as always, when we go over coaching, first we'll go over the tweet, then we'll go over the coaching tree. This for me and Rappaport. The Giants are hiring University of Louisiana's Ragin Cajuns offensive coordinator / offensive line coach, Rob Sale, as their new O-line coach source said. A key position. And a key position it is indeed. Okay, we've seen Hal Hunter fail. We've now seen Mark Colombo fail. Giants got to get this right, and until they get this offensive line right, we're not going to see a lot of success with that offense. We can bring in all the weapons we want. You watched that game last night, okay? Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, they weren't doing much with Pat Mahomes as their quarterback because they couldn't block that Tampa Bay Buccaneers pass rush. Giants got to get this right. I do firmly believe that they're starting to. They paid a heavy emphasis last year in the draft, drafting 3 offensive linemen in the first 5 picks. Don't be surprised if they take another offensive lineman or 2 in this year's draft. Giants got to get that thing right. Next thing I'm going to pull up for you guys is his coaching tree. Played for LSU. I think it was as a center. I know it was an interior lineman from 1998 to 2002. Then started out in high school before going to Alabama. From 2007 to 2011, it is there where he met Joe Judge and built up some kind of relationship. He later went on to become the offensive line coach at Georgia for a year before going to Louisiana Monroe in 2016, then transferring to Arizona State to be an offensive line coach for a year, then getting the offensive coordinator / offensive line job with Louisiana where he's been for the last 3 years, and now the New York Giants and Joe Judge will bring him aboard. Now, these are the things, some of the things I wanted to pull up for you guys in terms being that he was the offensive coordinator, just to show you guys the philosophy that he had while he was there. As a unit, Louisiana ran 739 plays for 4,637 yards, 6.27 yards a play, while scoring 33.6 points a game, a mark that ranked 3rd in the Sun Belt. Louisiana's 167 games of 10-plus yards was a top 30 number nationally. Then, there's a little small, but it was what I was able to pull up. In his second season, Sale helped the Ragin Cajuns break numerous offensive school records, including total offense, 6,918 yards, total touchdowns, 69, most rushing yards. They ran for 3,604 yards in his second season. Most rushing touchdowns with 42, and most passing touchdowns of 27, among others. The Ragin Cajuns production was powered by an offensive line unit that featured 2 NFL draft picks in Robert Hunt and Kevin Dotson. Hunt became the 3rd highest pick in team history, where he was selected 39th overall by the Miami Dolphins, while Dotson, who was named the first-team All-American by the Associated Press, USA Today, Sports Illustrated, and Pro Football Focus, and a second-team All-American by the Sporting News, was taken by the Pittsburgh Steelers with the 135th pick. So you saw some, obviously, success stories of offensive linemen that he coached in the past, both of whom went in the first couple of rounds of the draft. Behind an offense that earned Joe Moore Award honorable mentions, Louisiana's rushing attack proved to be one of the best in the country. Elijah Mitchell led the way, becoming the 6th running back in program history to eclipse the 1,000-yard mark with 1,147 yards and 16 touchdowns, the 3rd most scores in a single season in program history. So one thing to me that is abundantly clear with Rob Sale, at least as an offensive coordinator, and you would think is, his strategy when it comes to the offensive line, expect the New York Giants to continue to try to run the ball frequently. And it only makes sense being that when you look at some of our offensive linemen, Andrew Thomas is a great run blocker. Hernandez is known to be a very good run blocker. Gates is very good as a run blocker. I think the New York Giants will try to have a balanced approach, well opening it up a bit if they add some weapons to this offense. But make no mistake about it, Joe Judge is old school. Dave Gettleman's old school. They don't believe in airing out the football 50 times to win football games. And to be honest with you, neither do I. I don't think our team's equipped to do that. I don't think we have the quarterback to do that. That's not a knock on Daniel Jones. There's only 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the league that I feel confident airing the ball out 40 to 45 times every game to do that. Giants are going to come out there. They're going to smash in the mouth for 60 minutes. That's always been Joe Judge's approach. And the offensive line coach that he brought on here seems to be the same philosophy. And I like, once again, that he has ties to Joe Judge. But overall, do I think it's a good hire? Yeah. He's got a connection to Judge. He's got a ton of success at the collegiate ranks. And the New York Giants will bring another strong candidate aboard to fill out the rest of this coaching staff. As always, guys, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe. Drop a comment. Maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.